27, 23.
For Michigan, they hand it to Charbonnet, and he is
27, 23.
high snap handle. Simmons gets through the hole with a burst. And
27, 20 freaking 3.
Jordan Summer and Lombardi down the sideline.
This loss has to be the straw that breaks the camel's back of the Jim Harbaugh, Don Brown era of Michigan football. What up, squad? MizzyWorld Entertainment had to present a MadMizzy Sports exclusive segment in which I break down why this most recent Michigan loss to Michigan State in the Big House has to be the final loss of the Jim Harbaugh era of Michigan football. I'm going to start off by saying anybody that knows me knows I love me some Jimbo. I love me some Jimmy Harbaugh. You dig what I'm saying? I'm a 49ers fan. He brought my Niners from the depths and immediately took us to the NFC Championship game his first year as our head coach. Took us to the took us to the Super Bowl his second year as the head coach. The NFC Championship game again in his third year. Had us respectable in his last year. Pulled my Michigan Wolverines from the depths. We were 5-7 the year the year before he took over. We were 10-3 the very next year. But this loss right here has to be the final loss, the final bad loss of the Jim Harbaugh era of Michigan football. And I'm going to tell you why. Jim Harbaugh is the highest paid coach in football right now, in college football right now. Not Dabo Swinney, not Ryan Day in Ohio State, and not St. Nick in Alabama. Is Jimbo Harbaugh. And guess what? He's coupled with the highest paid coordinator in Division I college football, and that is Don Brown. We have the highest paid head coach in football and the highest paid coordinator in football in Jim Harbaugh and Don Brown. And we have a 2-12 record against top 10 opponents. We are averaging a 16-point differential in those losses. We are not just losing those games. We are getting beat on. We are getting dominated. We are 0-4 against Urban Meyer. Jim Harbaugh is 0-4 against Urban Meyer. He is 0-1 against Ryan Day. He is 0-5 against Ohio State. That right there should be the backbreaker to get Jim Harbaugh out of Ann Arbor. I have been a Jim Harbaugh supporter for years and years, and I still support him. I do not blame this on Jim Harbaugh. This is not a reflection of the ineptitude of Jim Harbaugh. This is just a reflection of how hard that turnaround is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. When you think about what he did at Stanford, recruiting Andrew Luck, Richard Sherman, David DeCastro, Doug Baldwin, Zach Ertz, Kobe Fleener, he did all that in about 4 years at Stanford. Give me one big name out of Michigan. You might be able to say Devin Bush, maybe now. You might be. But where's Rashawn Gary? Quiet with the Packers. I just don't know. And like I said, I don't want to put it on Jimbo, but this has to be the final loss. You feel what I'm saying? At the end of the day, when we brought in Jim Harbaugh and we snatched him away from the NFL, you know what it was? It was the same thing that Bama did when they snatched St. Nick away from the Dolphins in the NFL. It was for you to bring our program back to prominence of where it was with Lloyd Carr, where it was with Bo Schembechler, who you played under. Nick Saban, St. Nick was brought into Bama to bring Bama back to where they were with Bear Bryant, and he accomplished that. Jim Harbaugh has not come close to being Lloyd Carr, much less Bo Schembechler. I grew up a Michigan fan because of the Lloyd Carr era, the Charles Woodsons, the Anthony A. Train Thomases, the David Tyrees, the Marlon Jacksons, the Braylon Edwards, Steve Brustons, Jason Avants, Mario Manninghams, Chad Henneys, Mike Hart's, Chris Perry's, Larry Foots, Brandon Graham's. That is why I fell in love with the Michigan program, that Block M. It just stood to me. That wing helmet, it stood for something for me. And the way we have performed in our biggest of games under the Jim Harbaugh administration is disrespectful, unacceptable at the University of Michigan. You think about in the 13 years under Lloyd Carr, we went 6-7 against Ohio State, and that's with him losing, I believe, the last 4 against Ohio State. Why he got out of there? But he started off very strong against that team down south. Very strong. Won us a national championship in 1997. Brought us a Heisman Trophy in 1997. Only defensive Heisman ever. He has not come close to even being Lloyd Carr. You think about Bo Schembechler. He had a winning record against that team down south. He had a winning record against Woody Hayes, the most historical coach of that team down south. And he has not come close to those people. The fact that we come out and we get smacked against the top echelon's opponent. That loss to Wisconsin last year, nobody had us losing that bad. And we came out and got smacked. Utterly unacceptable. Utterly unacceptable to get punched in your mouth repeatedly by Jonathan Taylor, who was a great back, but he just ran like it was no defense out there. This has to be the final bad loss. This has to be the final straw in the Jim Harbaugh, Don Brown, Michigan football era. It just has to be. Don Brown, what is wrong with you? Every year they come in and talk about Don Brown's defense from last year and how they were a top scoring defense from last year. But if you look at every year Don Brown has coached us, they play well against lesser opponents or opponents that do not feel comfortable attacking our corners. As soon as teams start attacking our edges running wise or throwing the ball wise at our corners, we get demolished and he gives up a lot of points and he has no in-game adjustments. This pass game, the first play, the first time you see that number 4 can't really do the bump and run turn and cover a deep route, get out of there. Stop consistently running a bump and run man coverage if your players can't execute. Stop making players fit to your system and make a system that fits to the players and personnel that you have. You have all this speed around, but you want to put them all in a box and just say attack. Don Brown coaches defense how Hitler, creates war plans. It's just blitzkrieg. Just keep going. No retreat. Bro, you got to adjust sometimes. Sometimes you got to retreat. Sometimes you got to fall back. Sometimes you got to sit back and just react so you can create some plays and turnovers. Our defensive line has been the only consistent part about this team since Jim Harbaugh has came, besides the inconsistency of the entire team. That's just one thing that we could rely on, is that our team will be inconsistent from game to game, from week to week, from quarter to quarter, from possession to possession. And that is not what we brought in Jim Harbaugh and Don Brown to be the highest paid head coach and the highest paid defensive coordinator for, or the highest paid coordinator in general in the country. I don't know who we would bring in. I don't know. Maybe we need to promote Josh Gaddis. I don't know. Maybe we need somebody younger. I don't know. Maybe we need the Cliff Kingsbury type. I don't know. Find somebody. I'd rather us go 1-11 next year than to keep meddling along with this okay to good team that keeps getting embarrassed when we face a top 10 opponent. I'm tired of it. A 21 average point differential in our losses to Ohio State? That is disrespectful. And you think about in those 5 games, we've had, I think, 2 close games. So you think about the rest of the 3 games, we getting smacked. We are getting embarrassed. That is unacceptable. And I know I'm not the only University of Michigan faithful fan that feels that way. So for my UM fans, my UM faithful, please let me know what y'all think. If you watch college football and if you've tuned into Michigan and have a take on this, please give me your take. But for me, this loss to Michigan State in the big house after they just got smacked by Rutgers, after they just teased us with this great team, y'all came out and just dominated Minnesota after everybody had Minnesota beating us and Minnesota was ranked. And for us to come out and lay this egg in the big house like that, I'm sorry. We have to bring the Jim Harbaugh, Don Brown era of Michigan football to an end, in my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all know what it is. MadMizzy Sports exclusive. I had to absolutely talk about this immediately because this is the first time as a Michigan fan I text Mill, who's an Ohio State fan, and I said, I'm done with him, cuz. This is like, what is this? What is this? Let me know what y'all think, man. I'm done.